Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Julie Harris and I'm the course director of the MSc in Criminology and Criminal Justice at Ulster University. Welcome to this session. The plan is just to provide you with some information about the MSc in Criminology and Criminal Justice at UU for the new academic year 2022 to 2023. So first of all, I wanted to just briefly outline some of the benefits really of studying the MSc in Criminology and Criminal Justice at Ulster University. First of all, in terms of what we can offer you, obviously the university itself has a range of different MSc courses which provide you with the choice and opportunity to change your career path or plan for your future career. In terms of how the MSc in Criminology and Criminal Justice can do this, I'm going to talk a little bit later about how the programme really feeds into a number of high-profile careers and also existing careers, particularly if you perhaps work in a field related to criminology and criminal justice. For example, any policing agency, restorative justice, fraud, stuff that looks at digital forensics as well. Or you could work in an organisation working with human rights issues, or perhaps it's a more general social research area. The MSc will definitely help you to develop and learn new skills to advance your career in those areas. The applied skills that you would develop throughout the course could either help to secure a new job, or it could be used to advance your current career and develop a really kind of critical and competitive edge within employment. The kind of global nature of the topics covered by the MSc also really places you in a fantastic position in the global economy, as well as the local and national economies. I know from personal experience that completing an MSc can also provide you with a great sense of personal fulfillment. When I was setting out to do my own master's, I really took time and selected one that was based upon my interests and provided the key skills which I knew were lacking from looking at the skills I'd collated over the course of an undergraduate programme. While the MSc is an intense course, it is also very rewarding and it's full of applied skills such as investigative methodologies, advanced research skills, training and skills for practitioners involved in restorative practices, punishment, state and corporate crime. Acquiring the skills that are offered throughout the course will really help to provide you with a sense of personal fulfillment and also provide you with more confidence when applying for jobs or promotion. I'll talk about the teaching team a little bit later, but I do want to emphasise that you will be taught by experts within the modules who are locally, nationally and internationally recognised. The MSc has also been built around stakeholder engagement with our undergraduate students, our industry contacts and our own research interests. And the combination of these different influences means that we provide a rich learning experience, which is really provided by a team of dedicated academics who are really passionate about their research and the module topic areas. We also have an excellent supported study environment. We really do have excellent library resources which provide access to a huge range of databases, journal articles and other documents which you'll find useful throughout the modules. The library staff here are very approachable and more than happy to have individual sessions with students if you're new to UU or if you just want to have a refresher course on some of the provisions that are offered. We also provide guidance on what to study in each of the modules, and we also try and always use creative ways to really enhance your learning experience. Through the library session and through our digital offices, there are a range of different training sessions which are available to help you get to grips with the various aspects of the new online technologies which we've been increasingly using. Of course, then, at the end of the programme, you are going to receive an academic qualification. And that's no matter if you decide to do a full-time MSc, a part-time, or if you don't want to do the MSc programme, you could go for a postgraduate certificate or a postgraduate diploma programme. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about those shortly. The MSc is also a really great lead-in if you're considering applying to do a PhD. It really does provide the necessary conceptual knowledge for a lot of topics that you may be interested in pursuing at PhD level, and there's a real focus on the learning of advanced research skills, which is essential to a PhD program. And then finally, another aspect is that our team have a range of local, national and international connections to industry and employers, which again has informed the development of the MSc programme, and it really seeks to ensure the development of real and useful applied skills and training. I'll talk more about these links shortly. So these are just some of the benefits that come with completing an MSc programme like criminology and criminal justice. What we've seen from documents from the Department of Education and from the graduate labour market, and also when we look at graduate outcomes and publications from the Department of Education, is that if you complete an MSc programme, you're likely to earn £7,000 more than the average amount a postgraduate earns compared to people who have just simply completed undergraduate programs. You're also then more likely to be in high-skilled employment. And it is really clear from data surrounding the issue of continuing with education post-undergraduate level, there's clear evidence that earnings increase the more education that you have, which of course is a key consideration to think about and take into consideration in regards to applying for an MSc, the quantifiable and financial benefits to yourself in the long term. In terms of the MSc in CCJ, we do offer flexible modes of study. You can complete the programme full-time, and that consists of a one-year programme. You have semester 1, semester 2 and semester 3 completed within a year. Semester 3 runs over the summer. Or there's the option to do it part-time. And if you do part-time, you can complete the programme within a 2 to 3 year period. So you can select one, it's usually 2 modules per semester, or 1 module, which is really useful if you're wondering how to fit this in around your own current employment as well. We also have flexible study levels. So in addition to the MSc itself and that programme, there is also the opportunity to complete a PG cert and a PG diploma if you don't want to go forward to complete the full programme. And I'll talk about those a little bit more shortly. In terms of applying to complete and enrol on the MSc programme, you need to apply online at ulster.ac.uk, and we have a postgraduate section on the webpage, which is really clear. It takes you through a summary of the course, all the necessary information you should need, and if there's any more information that you need which isn't contained on that, please do contact myself, Julie Harris. I'll give you my contact details at the end of this talk. There's no official closing date for the applications, and that's for all the courses. But do note that there are a limited number of placements on MSc programs. We usually cap it around 30 people. So do make sure you get your application in early. to ensure that if we do get a lot of applications that you'll definitely get through. In order to enroll on the MSc, we look for a 2-1 in a social science, usually related discipline. However, sometimes we can make exceptions. So if you're not sure if your undergraduate program relates to potentially studying this area, do get in touch with myself and I can answer any questions that you might have about that. An important thing to remember is that you can apply for multiple MSc programs through Ulster University. And that actually means, like, say you might be interested in the Peace and Conflict MSc at Ulster University, or you might be interested in the Social Policy MSc, and you might also be interested in the Criminology one. You can apply for all three and then make the decision as to which MSc you would like to do at a later stage before we start the new term in September. So do remember you have that option. When you are completing the application, do take your time with it and try not to make any mistakes. If you do have any questions, there are contact details for people who work within the postgraduate office and also myself. So if there are any difficulties or issues, please do get in touch and we will be happy to help. So in terms of how much the course costs, for the 2022 to 2023 academic year, the MSc in Criminology and Criminal Justice costs £6,410 for home students. Now, if you're part-time, what happens is that you pay per module. So each module works out at £1,068.30, and you just pay for how many modules you choose per semester. So say, for instance, you only register to complete one module per semester. This is what you will pay per semester. So if you were doing two at £1,068.30, the total cost would be £2,136.60. Now, we do have flexible options to help you to cover the costs. And the relevant people in finance would be happy to have a conversation with you to work out what would be the best option for you. Do note that any of our previous students who've completed a degree at Ulster University are entitled to a 10% discount. And for those of you who can afford it, you do get a 5% discount if you pay for the whole course in an upfront payment before you actually start the course. A really important piece of information is that you can get a loan of up to £5,500, which basically covers the majority of the costs for the MSc programme. Now, that postgraduate tuition fee loan, it just works the same way as the undergraduate student loans. So it's the government itself that provides the tuition fee loan up to £5,500 per student. Now, this is available for Northern Ireland students who meet the nationality or residency criteria. The tuition fee loan is available for students who wish to study the MSc in CCJ at Ulster University, and it's applicable for both full-time and part-time students. But you need to make sure for the part-time students that you complete the course within 3 years. A really important point here is that it is non-means tested. It's paid directly by the higher education provider. There's no age limit. Students can actually avail of the loan even if they hold an equivalent or higher qualification, but you're only entitled to one postgraduate tuition fee loan. So only one. So why study the MSc in Criminology and Criminal Justice at UU? We have a really strong reputation for providing our students with a quality experience. And that's reflected in consistently achieving over 90% in student satisfaction scores in the NS. That's the National Student Survey. We're also ranked 12th in the UK's Research Excellence Framework for our outstanding impact from our research as academics on policy and practice. We also provide research-led teaching, which is informed by the expertise of our team in the various areas which we teach on. So that includes areas such as victims and restorative justice, state and corporate crime, cybercrime, punishment, desistance, and drugs. We really are a dedicated team of internationally recognised scholars who are firmly committed to critical criminology, and that our research is used to feed in to produce evidence-based policy and practice to real-world issues, while also investing in our students' personal, professional, and academic growth. In that line, we have designed the MSc to respond to growing industry demand for applied knowledge and practical understandings of key criminological areas. In this context, the programme itself really provides you with industry-leading knowledge and essential skills through an advanced programme of criminological study grounded in active learning and critical thinking methodologies. The programme itself offers a rich range of opportunities to advance your research and professional profile. Modules themselves have been designed to really immerse you in learning new and cutting-edge ideas and methodologies which are used to tackle crime, harm, injustice, and disadvantage at a local, national, and international level. Our degree is really responding to this growing demand for applied knowledge and practical understandings in areas such as crime prevention, designing out crime, restorative justice, cybercrime, white-collar crime, digital forensics, victim support, and again, the onus is on producing evidence-based policy and practice. We've responded to those demands through designing a really innovative curriculum which is designed to enhance your prospect as a graduate within the applied field of criminology and criminal justice across academic, private, public, and voluntary sectors. We also have really strong research and industry links in Northern Ireland, other parts of the United Kingdom, Europe, North America, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. And that spans all aspects of practice, including areas such as policing, forensics, again, restorative justice, victims, drugs, courts, prisons, desistance, human rights, corporate compliance, anti-fraud, anti-money laundering, counter-terrorism, and anti-corruption. So our expertise informs the content of teaching, ensuring it is grounded in what we do and our research inputs into, and that's situated within real life problems and scenarios where we use and apply criminological theory, skills, and methods to examine and challenge various forms of injustice. So at present, we would work very closely with the Criminal Justice Inspectorate in Northern Ireland, with NIACRO, which is the Northern Ireland Association for the Care and Resettlement of Offenders. They provide a wide range of programs and services for children, young people and adults and families, which really aim to reduce antisocial behaviour and offending. We also work very closely with victim support in Northern Ireland, which helps people affected by crime. These organisations and others, other restorative justice agencies, drug organisations, their practice, how they work, feeds into our teaching and learning and assessments to ensure that we're delivering a programme which is full of applied skills and learning. So this is the teaching team. First of all, I'll just take you through each of us briefly to introduce ourselves to you and give you a little bit of information on our research interests, which help to inform our curriculum for the MSc. So first of all, you have me, and that picture's from many moons ago, but that's me. I'm the course director for the MSc program. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to email me. My research interests are in the field of drug consumption, both legal and illegal drugs. I'm also very interested in drug markets, criminalization, and the interplay with public health. So I've done quite a lot of research on why people use drugs, the risks that surround particular drugs, how to reduce harm surrounding those drugs, and looking at the implications for policy and practice. The next person there is Una. Una's research interests are in the field of youth justice. She's also written and researched on the imprisonment of children, children's rights, prisoners' families, prisoner support, and the treatment of women in the criminal justice system. Next, we have Dr. Hugh Campbell, who is our expert in restorative justice and security, and his research revolves around those areas. We then have Brendan. Brendan is very interested in developmental and life course criminology, with a particular focus on young adults in contact with the criminal justice system. His research is really centered on desistance from crimes and also looking at the rehabilitative and reintegrative potential of creative arts and sports. So using those to try to reduce offending. And also more recent work is looking at the ability, particularly of sports, to influence and affect young people's joining in with local paramilitary organisations. Then we have Linda. Linda's a senior lecturer, and her research centres around prisons, policing, abolitionism, abortion, youth justice, and human rights. We then have Connor. Connor's research interests centre in issues surrounding gender, sexuality, and punishment. He's also completed research on policing, organised crime, prisons, and penology, and he is also very much at the moment completing research looking at the role of sports interventions in reducing reoffending and becoming members of paramilitaries amongst young people in Northern Ireland. We then have Brian. Brian is our subject lead and a senior lecturer in criminology. His research interests span restorative justice, community policing, transnational crime, probation and justice. Then we have David. David teaches and researches in the area of state and corporate crime. He's also very interested in environmental crime and harm. He examines regulatory violations, grand corruptions, and uses really innovative investigative research methods using open source data and doing intelligence analytics. And last but not least is Chris, who's a professor in criminology, who would use similar techniques to David in terms of those really innovative investigative methodologies and with open source data. And he specializes in state crime, corporate crime, or state and corporate crime, corruption, and developing new methodologies in order to be able to research those issues. So that's our team. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit about the teaching program. So for anyone who is completing the project on a full-time basis, you complete 3 modules per semester, and you'll see you have 3 compulsory modules in the first semester. The first one here is Foundations for Social Science Research, which is compulsory. That module really aims to introduce you to a variety of approaches used in social science research. So it aims to help you develop skills in reviewing and analysing research, and also introduce you to research design, conducting, and actually reporting on your research. It'll also help people who've maybe been away from university for a little while to get up to scratch with referencing and maybe doing some refresher courses on computing skills as well. The focus is really on introducing you to both qualitative and quantitative research strategies, processes, and planning. Then we have critical perspectives on punishment, which is taken by Linda, Connor, and Brendan. So critical perspectives on punishment offers you the opportunity to really engage with a range of debates on how punishment is understood and represented in society. And that will encourage you to critically appraise of how and why we punish and consider what the answers to those questions could tell us about the societies that we live in. So on this course, you'll be tackling a range of fascinating topics each week in workshops, which really lead to brilliant discussions and stimulating debates on each of the topic areas. And in terms of some of the topics that are covered on this module, you have policing and punishment, the role of rehabilitation, criminalising and abolishing abortion, criminalising migration, and prison abolitionism. And then finally, last but not least, in the first semester is the compulsory module, Global Landscapes of Crime and Justice. This module is taken by Chris and David and really uses their research interests and the different methodologies they use to investigate these to provide a really hands-on, practical, case study, workshop-based module. It's kind of framed within the global expansion of neoliberal capitalism and how this growth of capitalism has been underpinned by the development of economic, political, and legal landscapes, which create opportunities for transnational crimes, which is the focus of the module. And they cover a range of these transnational crimes, including things like corruption, bribery, fraud, and money laundering. And each of those transnational crimes really pose serious threats to global justice. So in this context, we really need the development and implementation of effective policy, regulation, and enforcement strategies to help tackle crimes that take place in international and transnational landscapes, which is actually a very challenging task, which requires specialist knowledge and skills. And you'll be introduced to those specialist knowledge and skills on this module. As a result, you'll be equipped with applied knowledge and skills that are essential to policy design, regulatory enforcement and oversight, both nationally and internationally. And as I said, this course uses a case study workshop approach, where each week you go through real-world case studies and investigate them with the help of Chris and David. And that will allow you to engage with contemporary debates on the control and prevention of transnational criminality. And the module really does offer a unique opportunity to learn how to employ investigative research methodologies to build evidenced accounts of criminal violation and how to develop appropriate responses. So in terms of some of the topics that are covered on that module, you have corruption and kleptocracy, international bribery, serious fraud, money laundering, arms trade corruption and political finance, challenge in secrecy and anti-money laundering regimes, and then you'll look at seizing unexplained wealth and stolen assets. So that's semester 1 teaching. In semester 2, as a full-time MSc student, you have one compulsory module, which is Victims and Restorative Justice, and then you can either do 2 research methods modules, so one in qualitative and one in quantitative research, or you could choose to do 1 research methods, and then you get the choice of doing social action for peace and justice, which I'll run through quickly and give you a brief introduction to it. Then in the final semester, you have the MSc dissertation. So I'll just give you a wee brief introduction to those modules that you see on screen. So first of all, the compulsory module, Victims and Restorative Justice, is taken by Brian and Hugh. So this module really introduces you to restorative justice. And the relationship between restorative justice with victims' treatment in and experiences of the criminal justice system and in society more broadly. So within that module, you get to examine the theory and application of restorative justice in various different contexts, including youth justice, education, prisons, communities, social work, and other settings where conflict occurs. You'll learn about a range of theoretical explanations and, importantly, evidence-based methods and approaches to applying restorative justice in different settings and also across different countries. So the topics that are included within this module are victimology, sexual harm, youth justice, responding to paramilitary violence, intercultural conflict, education, truth and reconciliation commissions, and then finally community applications of restorative justice. So the next module then that you could do is qualitative research methods. And that really provides you with advanced understanding of qualitative research methods. It'll provide you with a really good theoretical grounding. It'll provide you with practical knowledge and skills in the field of qualitative research and design. And it essentially builds on key concepts which are introduced through the Foundations of Social Science module. So in this module, you'll cover how to create your topics. Also, importantly, it provides really useful information on conducting research with vulnerable groups. It'll take you through the ethical review process and introduce you to a range of different data collection methods, including things like in-depth interviews, focus groups, accessing archive data, etc. Then we'll also look at analysing qualitative data and the different approaches to doing so, and then how to interpret and present your research. And it will also help your digital skills as you'll be introduced in vivo, which is one of the main ways that you can analyse qualitative data. So you can do that, and you can do the quantitative module, or you can choose one of them. Now, the survey and quantitative research methods module is my own module. And what that module is designed to do is provide students with a thorough knowledge of survey research design and quantitative data analysis. What we do in that course is use data sets which are produced by ARC and the Northern Ireland Life and Times Survey. So we use data that's been produced in Northern Ireland, that's real, that's been collected in Northern Ireland, and then you'll go and one of the first tasks is to design a short questionnaire, and then the second assignment is based on using SPSS to analyse quantitative data which has already been collected. So in that context, the module really introduces you to the principles and practice of simple quantitative approaches through to advanced quantitative analysis. It provides essential training on how to design questionnaires, and it provides training on how to use SPSS to produce a range of descriptive and inferential statistics. And I'll also show you how to understand, interpret, and present results. If you only do one of the research methods module, then you can do this module, which is social action for peace and justice. And this module really allows you to explore themes which are shared across social science disciplines and are aimed at tackling important social issues such as the impact of poverty, inequality, discrimination, and conflict. And it will introduce you to the idea of co-production and how we can use that to achieve sustainable transformation in those areas. So the module really examines how policy, legislation, and practice are often rolled out as a top-down approach, whenever really they would be better informed by going to the communities that are affected and by sharing knowledge expertise, and lived experience in order to impact and make meaningful, transformative change in areas such as poverty and discrimination and conflict. In terms of the topics that are covered in this module, it examines power relations, the radical agenda, and it also looks at tools and practices to reduce discrimination and oppressive practices to design effective interventions, be that in the form of, as practitioners, adopting reflective practices and how to co-design and co-produce and to engage in collective action with marginalised groups in order to lead to transformative change. Then for students who are studying the MSc programme, the final part is the dissertation, which is conducted over the summer months on the programme. And really that provides you with the opportunity to carry out a piece of independent research on a relevant topic related to criminology or criminal justice. It gets you and allows you the opportunity to use the knowledge and skills that you've learned in other modules to select a topic and to apply those skills that you've learned in order to develop a dissertation. So what we're looking for is a clear topic area. Topic area can be of your choice, and if you're working, it could be the case that perhaps you would like to do a piece of work related to something that you work on or to help the organisation, and that's fine. Or you can choose your own topic. And we also have external stakeholders who will be able to provide live research projects for students, which again can be excellent experience as you're actually conducting a piece of work that's going to have meaningful impact for that organisation. What we're looking for is that you have a clear topic and that you're able to source and collect and analyse data on a particular topic, and then that you can effectively present your findings, which will also be informed by relevant theory and research. Okay, so in terms of the learning approach, the full-time MSc lasts 1 calendar year. So full-time students normally are required to be on campus for 5 to 6 hours per week, usually over 2 days during semester 1. It's really 9 hours. Over the past year, students were in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and on one of those days they were in for 6 hours and one they were in for 3 hours, so it's usually 9 hours per week. Dissertations, as I said, are usually conducted over semester 3. There are different pathways, like I explained at the start. So in order to get the postgraduate certificate, you just need to complete 3 of the top modules. That's the 3 compulsory CCJ modules. To get the postgraduate diploma, you would be completing 6 top modules with assessment. It's whenever you complete the dissertation that you would receive your MSc. And don't forget, we have a really good, flexible part-time study option where you can study the MSc over the course of 2 to 3 years. In terms of the teaching and assessment approach, we use workshops, 3-hour workshops for all of the modules. And these workshops have been designed, taken into consideration, flipped, blended, and active learning approaches. And there really is emphasis on applying and testing knowledge to real-life case studies and scenarios. The workshops themselves contain a flexible combination of online content, which supports students to prepare and participate on campus, which is usually based, the workshops on campus usually have mini lectures, tasks, some have like short little seminars, and there's also peer group learning opportunities, and then we also have workshops which are led by leading experts and practitioners in certain areas that the modules are related to. So we really do use a broad range of teaching and learning methods. which are designed to really promote your critical thinking, reflexivity, and also teamwork. Like I said, the workshops contain mini lectures, supervised group work sessions, presentations, workshops with expert practitioners. We use case studies, and we also use online learning and directed readings. Class-based activities really allow you to put your learning into action and to apply it to real-life problems and scenarios. And we also participate in things like group discussions over certain topics or concepts, debates. You also then benefit from having individual research supervision for the dissertation part of the programme. So you'll be allocated an academic supervisor who will work closely with you and provide you with advice to complete that project and then write up the dissertation itself. All of our assessments are closely aligned to module and degree learning outcomes. They're designed to motivate you to engage, make them as enjoyable as possible, and to test your learning. We set assessments that really emulate real-life professional scenarios and challenges. And these assessments are closely related with the learning activities that you do each week in class, where you really need to hone in and apply the knowledge and skills that you've learned to your assessment so that you can demonstrate that you've understood and that you understand how to apply different techniques, what is evidence, and their implications for policy and practice. There's a variety of different forms of assessment on the programme. These include presentations, case study reports, policy briefs, reflective accounts. We've got data analysis tasks, posters, research proposals, and then of course the dissertation. We always try to make sure that we give formative feedback before we have a substantive assignment. So we can provide you with oral and sometimes written initial feedback on topic areas, just to give you that little bit of confidence for whenever you're going forward to submit a big piece of work for an assessment. In terms of support, we have a range of different support for our students. That's one of the issues with the undergraduate programme in criminology at Ulster is our class sizes, which are usually very large, whereas at MSc level, class sizes are much smaller, which allows you to, again, really get to know us, the staff, and that can really enhance and facilitate deep learning on the particular topics that you are looking at. You're provided with one-to-one mentoring, you're provided with a studies advisor, you'll also be provided with one-to-one support through your dissertation. Now that COVID is starting to go away, maybe, in some respects, and we'll be getting back onto campus and hopefully the Belfast campus for the new year, we do operate an open door policy where you can come to us whenever you need us and we'll have a chat with you. Alternatively, what you can do if we're not on campus is to send us an email and we'll certainly get back to you via email or set up a meeting with you as soon as we can. We also have an excellent online and library resources which will help your learning to facilitate it and to develop it. And we've also got really dedicated careers help who provide tailored sessions through our careers development service, which will provide you with really useful employability skills going forward and to sit down and think about your plan and how we can help and the career service can help to get you to where you would like to be. We also have a very excellent range of student support services. So if you are struggling with, your mental health, or perhaps you've got circumstances going on that are affecting your study, we have an excellent range of student support services which are there to help. So in terms of careers, I'm not going to go through all of these careers that you see on screen, but these are an indication of the types of careers that you could go into after you've completed the MSc in Criminology and Criminal Justice. It really does open up a range of unique career opportunities, and there's increasing demand across the public, private and voluntary sectors for graduates and professionals with applied knowledge and practical understandings of crime, what drives crime, what are the societal impacts, and the strengths and limitations of evidence-based methods used to address these issues. So, I mean, graduates are going to go on to a huge range of careers in areas such as law enforcement and regulation, victim support, offender rehabilitation, restorative practice, corporate compliance, all the ones that you can see in front of you. The knowledge, skills, and techniques developed by students on this program are also transferable across different sectors and regions, which will place you in a really strong position within an increasingly globalized job market. We're firmly dedicated to embedding employability within the program, and as well as on our individual specific criminology and criminal justice modules, you also have provision of advanced research method skills, practice, training, and opportunities to really allow you to apply criminological theory to real life policy and practice scenarios. And these skills are crucial to equip you to pursue careers across all sectors in a wide range of areas, including human rights, criminal justice, social justice, compliance, law, education, conflict resolution, and psychosocial interventions, among others. So that is me finished. I hope that you found this information session on the MSc in Criminology and Criminal Justice useful. And if you do have any questions about the course, please do get in touch with me. You see my